What if the most powerful food system you could ever own fits inside a container you can buy at a farm supply store for under $200? Not a greenhouse, not a chicken coop, not a raised bed full of vegetables that deer eat before you do. A tub, a single, ordinary galvanized stock tank sitting in a corner of your backyard, quietly growing more usable protein per square foot than a pasture, a fish pond, or a factory farm. And the wilder part? Once it's running, it mostly feeds itself. Most people hear that and think it sounds too good to be true. And I get it, because we've been trained to think that growing your own protein requires land, permits, equipment, and a whole lifestyle change. But what I'm going to walk you through today is not a hobby. It's not a trend. It's a food production principle that farmers in Asia figured out over 2,000 years ago, and modern biology has now confirmed works better than almost everything else at small scale. Here's the core idea. In a living, balanced aquatic system, every waste product from one organism becomes food for another. Fish eat plants. Plants eat fish waste. Microscopic life breaks everything down and recycles it back to the beginning. There is no garbage. There is no input you have to constantly buy. There is only a loop, and if you set it up right, that loop runs almost by itself, and what falls out of the loop every few months is protein on your dinner table. Farmers in southern China had this figured out so completely that their integrated pond systems were listed by the United Nations as globally important agricultural heritage. Not as a curiosity, as a model for feeding people efficiently and sustainably. They stacked fish species in layers, surface feeders, mid-water feeders, bottom feeders, so every cubic inch of the pond was doing work. They added ducks. They added plants. Waste from one became feed for the next, and the whole system produced protein yields that conventional single-species aquaculture still struggles to match today. You don't need a pond. You need the principle, and you can run that principle in a 300-gallon stock tank. Let me show you exactly how. The first thing you need to understand is that water is not empty. The moment you fill a container and leave it in the sun, life begins to appear. Algae blooms. Microscopic zooplankton show up within days. Insects start laying eggs. Bacteria colonize every surface. What looks like a dirty green problem is actually your first crop, a living soup of high-protein microorganisms that small fish will eat constantly and enthusiastically. Most beginners panic and try to kill this. Don't. This is your foundation. Your system has 4 functional layers, and every decision you make should support all 4 at once. The first layer is the producers. These are your plants and algae, the things that capture sunlight and turn it into living biomass. For a tub system, you want a combination. Submerged plants like hornwort or anacarus oxygenate the water and give juvenile fish places to hide. Floating plants like duckweed are the miracle of this whole system. Duckweed is the fastest growing plant on Earth. It doubles its mass roughly every 2 days under good conditions. It contains up to 45% protein by dry weight, more than soybeans. Fish love it. Ducks love it. You can even eat it yourself. In a well-running tub, a small patch of duckweed can produce several ounces of harvestable biomass every week, and the fish will eat it directly from the surface. Add a few water hyacinth plants along the edges to soak up excess nutrients and keep the water clear. The second layer is the grazers. These are smaller organisms that eat the algae and zooplankton and convert them into body mass that your harvest fish can then eat. In a tub system, this layer is mostly handled by the fish themselves at juvenile stage, along with whatever invertebrate life colonizes naturally. If you want to accelerate this layer, add a small handful of pond snails. They graze algae off surfaces, their eggs become fish food, and they reproduce fast enough to sustain a small population indefinitely. The third layer is your harvest fish. This is the protein output, the paycheck the whole system is working toward. For a 300-gallon tub in a temperate climate, channel catfish are ideal. They're hardy, they tolerate crowding far better than most species, they eat almost anything, they grow fast, and they taste good. A well-stocked 300-gallon tub can carry between 20 and 30 catfish to harvestable size in a single growing season. At an average harvest weight of 1 to 2 pounds each, that is potentially 30 to 40 pounds of clean, fresh, protein-dense fish from a container in your backyard. For warm climates, tilapia are equally efficient and grow even faster. In cooler northern climates, trout are possible if your water stays cold, but they require more management. The fourth layer is the decomposers, the bacteria and fungi that break down fish waste and uneaten material into soluble nutrients that your plants can absorb. You don't add this layer. It arrives on its own. But you support it by never over-chlorinating your water, never cleaning the tank too aggressively, and maintaining a stable pH between 7 and 8. This bacterial layer is what makes your water fertile instead of toxic. Without it, your fish die. With it, your plants explode. Now here's how you build this from scratch. Start with your container. A 100 to 300 gallon galvanized stock tank is the easiest entry point. If you want to go larger, a 500 gallon IBC tote works and costs almost nothing used. Avoid anything that previously held chemicals. Fill it with water and let it sit for 48 hours with a simple aeration stone running. This off-gases chlorine and begins the bacterial cycling process. Add a handful of substrate from an established pond if you can get it, a bucket of water from a neighbor's healthy garden pond, a handful of gravel from a pet store aquarium. This seeds your bacterial layer weeks faster than waiting. Week 1, you're doing nothing but watching. Check the water. Let the algae begin. Add your submerged plants on day 3 or 4. Add a small floating plant colony, a cup of duckweed, on day 5. If the water smells bad, something is wrong with your aeration. If it smells earthy and green, you're on track. End of week 2, add your snails and any other small invertebrates. Keep the aeration running. The water should be visibly greening up, which means phytoplankton are thriving, which means your food web is activating. At the 4-week mark, your system is ready for fish. Don't overstock on day 1. Start with 10 fingerlings per 100 gallons. Feed lightly, a small pinch of standard fish pellets once a day, and watch how fast they eat. Within 2 to 3 weeks of adding fish, you'll see the duckweed beginning to get eaten down from the edges. That's your signal that the system is working. The fish are finding the natural food. Gradually reduce your pellet feeding as the natural food supply grows, and the system begins to self-regulate. By month 3, if you've kept up with basic water checks and topped off the tub as evaporation lowers the level, your fish are visibly growing. By month 4 or 5, the largest ones are ready to eat. Here's something that surprises almost everyone who tries this for the first time. The labor is almost nothing. Once a week you check the water level and top it off. Every few days you skim off excess duckweed so it doesn't completely shade the surface. Every 2 weeks you do a 20% water change and pour that nutrient-rich water straight onto your garden beds, where it acts as liquid fertilizer. The loop extends. Fish feed the water. Water feeds the plants. Plants feed the fish. There is a feeling that comes with running a system like this that is genuinely hard to describe until you've experienced it. It's not just satisfaction. It's something quieter than that. A kind of calm that comes from knowing that in one corner of your backyard, a living system is doing its work, independent of supply chains and grocery prices and all the noise of the outside world. Every morning you walk out, and the loop is still running. The fish are still growing. The duckweed is still doubling. The water is still alive. You don't need land. You don't need permits. You don't need experience. You need a tub, a bag of duckweed, a handful of fish, and the willingness to let biology do what it's been doing for 2,000 years. This week, pick your version. Go to your local farm supply store and look at the stock tanks. Pull up the dimensions. Look at the sunny spot in your yard or on your patio. Mark the location. That's your start. If you're already running a system like this or you're building one, drop your climate zone in the comments and I'll tell you exactly which fish species will work best where you are. And if you want the full, deep dive, species by species, water chemistry, winter management, scaling up to a full in-ground pond, that video is coming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. The loop is already waiting for you. Go start it.